The reason I spend so much time talking about the appeal of Undertale is that whether you love it or don't, it's important to understand that this is a game that elicits a lot of emotion in people. But this created a problem. Undertale was still a small indie game. You could see the majority of its meaningful content in less than 20 hours, and from there, all that emotion had nowhere left to go. Take a character like Asriel. Go back to the beginning of the game after a pacifist run, and there he is tending to the flowers. He will not go with you, and you cannot save him. He's resigned to stay alone in the ruins forever, slowly reverting back to the soulless version of himself. And that's it. That's the end of this character. And this is where Dreamer Reborn comes in, a fan comic that reimagines this scenario, where now Frisk shares their soul with Asriel, allowing him to join his family on the surface and start a new life. And if you want to know how hungry people were for this kind of content, Dreamer Reborn was uploaded just 8 days after Undertale's release. Dreamer Reborn went on to be massively popular, even resulting in its own fan game, and was a critical moment for what Undertale would become online, because it told fans, if you wanted more Undertale, you could create it yourself. This opened the door to a whole world of new fan content. Say you were super into a character like Alphys, who maybe has 20 to 30 minutes dialogue across the entire game total. Well, through fan content, she became infinite. Now you could watch her take cooking lessons with Undyne. You could explore the horror of her failed experiments. You could watch her get married, try on outfits, play video games. Hell, you could even argue with her about anime in one of the many Undertale Ask blogs. People even creating elaborate animations like this short showing Alphys sinking into despair over the atrocities she's committed, and how her first meeting with Undyne began to change that. It's beautiful, but the thing is, this kind of fan content was now being made for every major character of the game, a sign of just how quickly Undertale was spreading online. Through nothing more than fan passion, the game became a massively popular topic for video essays that would scrape at every tiny corner of the game, desperate to uncover new information for an increasingly ravenous fan base. The game even reached some of the most popular creators on the internet who would stream and let's play this niche indie RPG to audiences of millions, leading to massive influxes of new fans. And if you want to see the most explosive expression of that new popularity, you can find it in the Undertale battle animations. No matter how dramatic the showdowns in Undertale felt, visually they were nearly always very simple, and had to be in order to remain feasible for its tiny development. And what these fan animations did was free the most dramatic moments of Undertale's story from those limitations, letting us experience the sheer lunacy of the ratings-driven war with Metaton, the violent, desperate cruelty of a no-mercy route Undyne, or the sheer tragic beauty of a pacifist route Asriel, like the fucking stunning Telly LZ's Hopes and Dreams, capturing all the emotion, tragedy, and tenderness of the showdown with the god of hyperdeath. And I think that's what drives a lot of the artists behind these creations, a desire to recreate how these fights felt. And I'm guessing that's why the most popular by far is the battle with Sans. Coming right at the end of a No Mercy run, this is where the game finally pushes back against the player. Sans, having watched you repeatedly destroy the lives of everyone he loves, now faces you in one final terrible fight. And it is a nightmare. Sans even taking control of the timeline and forcing the player to be the victim of saves and resets. And what these animations do is capture all that violence, all that emotion, and express it in a way that was never possible in the original game. The crazy part isn't even how many of these animations there are or their sheer quality, but their insane popularity. views. Well, if you did, you drastically underestimated because it's actually 60 million views! And this is not an anomaly with Undertale fan animations. 22 million views, 66 million views, 95 million views! I would wager that with view counts this high, these animations were likely how a lot of people actually discovered Undertale. Meaning, at a point, the Undertale fandom became self-perpetuating. Fanworks creating new fans who would in turn create new fanworks. And you could see this new level of popularity being expressed in some really insane ways. An entire music scene built up around Undertale fan remixes. People were programming their own Undertale fan games. Kenny Omega even main evented Wrestle Kingdom 13 to Undertale entrance music. I swear to God, this is a big deal. And within the fandom itself, every tiny corner of the game was now being mined for fan content. You remember those little side characters we mentioned earlier? Each of them now had their own massive fan following. Each tiny strand of Undertale was being filtered through 1,000 different lenses, resulting in legions of fan art, fan comics, fan fiction, plushes, stage productions, live action films, cooking videos. The point here is that from the little carrier burden waterfall to the bench quiche, each tiny strand of Undertale was being magnified 1,000-fold and given new life online. And if you want to see how minute this gets, look no further than WD Gaster. If a fictional character could win an award for appearing in a piece of media the least, but inspiring the most fan content, Gaster would win that award. His existence is only suggested in a handful of easily missable moments throughout the game. The Royal Scientist before Alphys, your odds of actually encountering him are tiny, dependent on a randomly assigned number at the start of your game from 1 to 100. And if that number happens to be 66, a mysterious grey room appears 10% of the time, which may contain a character sprite commonly believed to be Gaster, meaning he only appears in roughly 1 out of 1,000 playthroughs. And yet, he is a massively popular character in the fandom, appearing in innumerable fan comics, fan fiction, a fully playable boss battle, as well as fan animations, the most popular of which has 45 million views. He's barely in the fucking game! And if it's starting to make sense why I call Undertale's fandom an abyss... Oh buddy, we're just getting started.